Welcome back to the thrilling crime-solving journey of Xu Qi'an in the Nightwatcher. Chapter 15 Human Nature Never Changes. Third question: why did the county office insist you killed Zhang Haoshui, instead of blaming it on a thief? Xu Qi'an's voice was calm, almost casual. Dragging Zhang Haoshui's body into the courtyard to make it look like a robbery gone wrong? Creative. But you made one crucial mistake. He stepped forward, his tone sharpening. When Zhang Haoshui died, his body was lying in the courtyard. His feet pointed toward the house, his head toward the gate. The fatal wound, blunt force trauma to the back of the skull. That tells us the attacker struck from behind. He paused, letting the silence press in. Now tell me, why would a thief attack someone from behind like that, then leave empty-handed? A real thief would have hidden or run. Killing someone for no gain makes no sense. Yang Junzhen stood frozen, her breath caught in her throat. She hadn't expected there'd be so many holes in their story. His words struck her like thunder, shattering the fragile confidence she'd clung to. Suddenly it felt like her every move had been under watch all along. Like there was nowhere left to hide. You've gone quiet, Xu Qi'an continued. Zhang Xian was the same way. That's why he gave you up. Said you were the one who seduced him, called you shameless. Claimed you used the child in your belly to threaten him when he tried to end things. And that night, it was you who took advantage of the chaos and killed Zhang Haoshui. He shrugged with a look of mock pity. Zhang Xian's playing the victim. Claimed he couldn't take the pressure. So he confessed everything to the magistrate, offered up 500 taels of silver. Even pinned the whole crime on you. Said you acted alone. Junzhen's face drained of color. Her legs wobbled. The moment she heard Zhang Xian had betrayed her, she looked like a woman standing on the edge of a cliff, one strong gust away from the fall. Xu Qi'an tilted his head. You know what kind of man Zhang Xian is, don't you? In truth, Xu had no idea what kind of man he was. But he didn't need to. That kind of relationship, lust without love, it never lasted. And Zhang Xian, rich, spoiled, with plenty of options. Why would he ever stick to just one flower? Junzhen looked utterly broken. But, Xu Qi'an said gently, our magistrate is a fair and honorable man. He didn't take Zhang Xian's word as gospel. That's why he sent me to hear your side. If you tell the truth, there's a chance for leniency. The magistrates even agreed to spare you the death penalty. Junzhen looked up sharply, tears glistening in her eyes. She clutched at that faint thread of hope like a drowning woman. Really? Xu nodded. Absolutely. Once he saw her wavering, he stepped outside and called for the court scribe waiting nearby. The moment that iron wall of fear crumbled, Junzhen confessed everything raw, honest, and unfiltered. Yes, she had been having an affair with Zhang Xian. Yes, she was pregnant. But unlike Xu Qi'an's bluff, it wasn't her who initiated it. It was Zhang Xian, his lust barely restrained. He'd been watching her for a long time, waiting for the perfect moment. When her husband was away and she was alone, he struck. She resisted, at first hesitant, ashamed. But weakness crept in. A moment of pleasure, a lapse in judgment, and the fire consumed everything. That night, things spiraled. Father and son fought. In a moment of rage, Zhang Xian grabbed a vase and struck his father down. And just like that, he was dead. To cover it up, they staged a fake robbery, clumsy and riddled with flaws. After all, neither of them were professionals. And unfortunately for them, they ran into someone like Xu Qi'an. When the confession was complete, Xu left the holding cell with the scribe. The scribe, a grizzled veteran with 2 decades of courtroom experience, looked genuinely impressed. I've worked in this office for half my life, Never seen an interrogation like that. Xu Qi'an smiled and gave a lazy wave. It's nothing special. He deliberately targeted Junzhen because she didn't know the law. And in this era, long hair. Short insight that saying fit perfectly. She was soft-spoken, uncertain, lacking her own voice. He'd spotted that the moment he observed her during the magistrate's initial questioning. He'd bluffed about the pardon. Under the law of Da Feng, adultery and spousal murder were punishable by death. Women like Junzhen were sentenced to death by slow slicing. The man beheaded in public. In this case, the one who actually killed was Zhang Xian parricide, a crime even more monstrous. Xu Qi'an didn't care how someone like that died. But Junzhen, she was an accomplice, not the killer. He didn't believe she deserved to die. A leftover principle from his past life, maybe. One that clashed with the brutal reality of Da Feng's law. Every age has its rules, he muttered to himself. Survival means learning to bend with the times. When Zhang Xian saw Junzhen's full confession, he was stunned speechless. With no more room to twist the truth, he gave up and confessed everything in despair. Xu Qi'an brought the statements to the inner hall. Magistrate Xu was reading, one hand holding a teacup, the other flipping pages. The moment he saw Xu walk in, he set both aside. "Well?" he asked. Xu laid the 2 confession scrolls on the desk. "Justice served, sir." The magistrate picked up the papers and read in silence. When he was done, he slammed the desk with a furious palm. Vile beasts. Absolute filth. He trembled with rage. As a scholar, a man of principle, he felt personally insulted. After the fury passed, he glanced back at Xu Qi'an with newfound respect. "Ning Yan, I'll make sure this goes on your record. You've done well." Xu grinned. "It's all thanks to your guidance, sir. I just soaked it up like rain on dry soil." Magistrate Xu actually chuckled. Ellipsis. The next day, Head Constable Wang invited the squad out for drinks. 8 bailiffs plus Xu Qi'an, the man of the hour. In Da Feng, with silver holding its value steady, a single tael could buy a whole feast at a fine restaurant. At a street tavern, it went even further. Thanks to his razor-sharp logic and commanding interrogation, Xu Qi'an had become the talk of the office. Even Constable Wang leaned over the table, eager for details. "The woman broke easily," Xu said modestly. "Bit of pressure," she cracked. "Wasn't anything special." He wasn't about to brag. Xu Qi'an knew how to play the humble card, keep it grounded. Keep it real. But to the others, it was like watching a master. Their eyes lit up. A whole new world of possibilities had opened. They poured drink after drink for him, grinning wide. A few rounds in, the conversation shifted as it always did among men with wine to more carnal subjects. And in that arena, Constable Wang was king. He clapped Xu Qi'an on the shoulder and grinned. "Ning Yan, tonight, I'm taking you out to a brothel. Time to expand your horizons." The whole table erupted into crude laughter. Chapter 16. Xu Qi'an's Journal. Today is the Jiwu Day, Bingshu month, in the Zhengzi year. What a mess. If it weren't for the memories I inherited, I'd have no clue what that meant. Based on my calculations, this should be October 18th, year of the rat, solar calendar. Guess it's time I start keeping a journal. I mean, it's not like I'm some paragon of virtue. Second uncle was right, I need to change how I live. In a society like this one, climbing too high isn't necessarily a good thing. Even top officials end up getting their homes raided and their heads lopped off. So what kind of life is actually worth living? After some thought, I've got an answer. Middle class. Rich enough to live better than most. but low-key enough to stay out of palace intrigue and political purges. A few minor injustices here and there. Sure, but nothing that can't be shrugged off. That's the sweet spot. Also, found a silver tail at the market today. Lucky. October 19th. Overcast. Money. I need money. In this world, only silver is reliable and gold is better. Too bad merchants have zero status in this society. Win some, lose some, I guess. Thinking about quitting the constable job in a few days. 2 silver taels and a bag of rice a month. That won't even get me a foot in the door at the courtesan bureau. Let alone buy a night with the top girl. October 20th. Overcast again. Still haven't quit. I want to get my side hustle going before I cut ties. Saw my colleagues shaking down some merchants today. Made me sick. But I get it, this is how the world works here. The old me would have raised hell. Now, life's worn the edges off. When you're powerless to change the system, the best you can do is keep quiet. Also, found another silver tael. This time, at the constable office. What kind of luck is this? October 21st. Clear skies. Today, Chief Wang dragged me to a pleasure house. Had a change of heart about those places, turns out they're not just for lechery. You can enjoy the music, relax a bit, maybe even feel something. Still stuck in the qi refining stage, though. Can't break my vows yet. Sucks. None of the courtesans compared to her, though. She's got that full, elegant beauty, the kind you only see in noble households. These pleasure girls, too much perfume, not enough class. Honestly, only Lingyue, my little sister, could hold a candle to her. Also, found another silver tael at the brothel. Just enough to pay for food and the show. Am I getting too lucky? October 22nd. Listened to music at the brothel. October 23rd. Same. October 24th. Same. Chief Wang asked why I looked so happy. Free entertainment. What's not to love? October 25th. Xu Qi'an, you degenerate. What the hell are you doing? This can't go on. You've lost sight of your goal. Time to get serious. First step. Earn 1 million. A small goal. Just 100,000 silver taels. October 26th. Back at the brothel. October 27th. Back again. No free silver this time. Had to pay out of pocket. Disgusted with myself. Never going to that place again. October 28th. This world has gunpowder, firearms, soap, and they actually work. So much for my scented soap business. Damn those alchemists. Wait. Glass. I can make glass. Pretty sure no one here's seen it before. October 29th. Nope. They've got glass, too. Need a new plan. Also, found one of second uncle's stashes. 1 silver tael. Score. October 30th. Back at the brothel. October 31st. Had a new idea today. Paper. Literature is booming in the Great Feng Empire. If I can produce better paper, I could make a killing. Eat like a king, sleep with the best courtesans. Sounds like a plan. Started recalling the process, but scratched it out. Forget paper. Got something even bigger: cement. Still remember the formula: calcium carbonate, silicon oxide, Aluminium oxide. Iron 3 oxide? Just need to synthesize it right. Also, found another silver tail at the market. Okay. Seriously. Why do I keep finding money? Something feels off. November 2nd. The cement plan failed. Knowing the theory is one thing, actually making the stuff, totally different beast. Damn reality. November 3rd. Ran out of extra money. Asked second uncle for help, but he's broke too. Then Xu Qi'an found out. First, he mocked me. Then, he mocked me again. Then he handed me 5 taels of silver. What a guy. Snarky and arrogant, but still a decent cousin. I thanked him with a classic line. If heaven hadn't birthed Xu Qi'an, Great Feng would remain forever in darkness. He blushed. Stormed off. Erlang, if we weren't blood, I'd make you the female lead. November 5th. Had hot pot with the guys from the constable office. First time hearing a storyteller at a tea house. Gave me an idea. What if I rewrote all the classic wuxia and fantasy stories from my past life? I could make a fortune. Also, found another silver tael. Brothel money secured. November 7th. Why was I so naive? Those stories run hundreds of thousands of characters. You want me to handwrite all that with a damn brush? I'll just make a pencil. But I can't even remember most of the plots. Been here a week. Haven't accomplished anything. I'm turning into a waste of space. November 8th. Rainy. Just like my mood. I know a little about everything. But when it comes to actually doing something with that knowledge, useless. Guess this is what exam-based education gets you. Talked with second uncle today. He shared stories from the bureaucracy. Added to what I've seen working at the constable office. This world is worse than I thought. Corrupt officials everywhere. The honest ones are just less greedy. A truly virtuous one, rarer than a virgin courtesan. November 9th. Cloudy. Kai Wei, where are you? Aren't you curious about legendary alchemy? She's gorgeous. Not inferior to Lingyue at all. Big eyes, soft cheeks, adorable and clever. With my flirting skills, I might just win her over. Becoming the superintendent's apprentice doesn't even matter. I just want someone warm in this cold world. Come find me already. I'm tired of trying. November 10th. Still clinging to the novel plan. Told a half-remembered version of Butterfly Lovers to my sisters. Couldn't recall much, but Lingyue teared up. Lingyan didn't cry, so I punched her. Then she cried. Sometimes feelings need a little nudge. November 11th. Had drinks with historian Li. When the wine kicked in, he told me the Northern Prince's consort is the most beautiful woman alive. I asked what she looked like. He couldn't say. Only heard rumors from the magistrate. Later, I asked second uncle. His expression got weird. Fumbled through every word he had and finally said, "She's just really big." Now I'm curious. November 12th. Still a failure. I've let down my country. Let down every isekai traveler before me. November 13th. 1 month in. Got my first stipend. Time to work hard. Business ideas can wait. November 14th. Back at the brothel. Chapter 17. Teasing the ant. As usual. Ha. Xu Qi'an stood under the eaves of his modest courtyard, casually flicking a diamond-shaped throwing dart. He hadn't even aimed, but the weapon lodged cleanly into the center of the wooden post over 20 paces away. That wasn't skill. That was dumb luck. This body is definitely off, he muttered to himself. His luck was far beyond normal. He'd found silver worth a tael and Xu Qi'an just last month. Enough to match half a month's official salary. For an average family of 3, it could last an entire season if they were careful. What was strange was not just the amount, but the consistency. Every time, he found exactly 1 tael. That wasn't just good fortune, it was unnatural. Even without knowing the reason, it left a lingering sense of unease. System Daddy, come out already. Stop playing hide and seek, Xu Qi'an called out hopefully. Silence. For the past month, he'd run test after test, trying to trigger some kind of hidden system. Some awakening. Some sign. Anything. But the reality was clear: there was no system. Then how the hell could he explain this ridiculous luck? He, who'd never once won even the smallest prize in a lottery, suddenly turned into some silver-finding machine. It couldn't last forever. Probably. He gave a wry smile. He was pretty sure the original owner of this body hadn't been this lucky. If he had been, the ant wouldn't have treated him like a parasite. She would have spoiled him like a walking goldmine. The whole family could have lived off his findings alone. No need for jobs or ambition. Gifts without cause always come with a cost, Xu Qi'an murmured, eyes unfocused. Guess I'll just take it one day at a time. It was his day off. Xu Qi'an vaulted over the high courtyard wall, heading to his second uncle's house for breakfast. Technically, the small courtyard he now lived in had once belonged to an old steward of the Xu family just across the wall from the main estate. After the old man passed, it sat empty until Xu Qi'an, in a fit of anger after an argument with his aunt, moved in. The former owner of this body had been stubborn and proud, cooking all 3 meals himself. Occasionally, second uncle would climb over with a jug of wine and join him for a drink. But Xu Qi'an wasn't about to torture himself over a dead man's principles. He wasn't waking up early to cook, and he wasn't about to spend money on breakfast outside. Why waste silver when you could use it to court courtesans and watch silk-draped beauties sway to music? In the main hall, his aunt, dressed in a crimson robe with wide sleeves, gave him a sour look as he entered. She said nothing, just lowered her head and resumed sipping her congee. She wasn't born into a noble family. Her father had been a minor scholar, barely enough to claim scholarly descent. But years of living with the Xu family had tempered her into someone shrewd and calculating. She owed Xu Qi'an a recent favor, though, and wasn't about to throw him out just yet. Begrudgingly, she let him be. The little girl stood in front of her stool, breakfast laid out before her: 3 steamed buns, 2 fried crullers, a plate of pickled vegetables, and a large bowl of congee. Big brother, she mumbled sleepily. Where's Tan Nian? Xu Qi'an asked. Tan Nian, styled as Tu Ju, was his younger cousin. He's locked in his room writing poetry, said Xu Pingzi, second uncle. Xu Qi'an sat down. The maid, Lu Na, brought over his breakfast: a bowl of congee, 6 buns, a plate of pickled radish, and a small bowl of tofu. A martial artist at the body tempering stage could eat a lot much more than a normal person. But a cultivator like his uncle, who was already at the qi refinement level, ate more modestly. Xu Qi'an glanced at the table, then at the little girl. He put on his gentlest smile. Lingyan, how about giving your big brother one of your buns? Everyone looked at him. At home, this kid didn't care about toys, books, or anything really but touch her food, and she'd turn into a wild beast. No, she declared, spreading her arms to protect her plate like a mother hen shielding her chicks. Don't be like that. I won't cheat you. Xu Qi'an picked up a bun and plopped it onto her plate. Then he pointed to the remaining 4. There are 4 buns now. That means we can share, right? Xu Lingyan nodded. Then we split them. 2 for you, 2 for me. And I'll even throw in half a cruller. That's a good deal, right? The little girl blinked, brain slowly ticking through the logic. Then she grinned and nodded enthusiastically. Xu Lingyue. Xu Pingzi stared at his nephew. Auntie slapped the table. How did I end up with a daughter this dense? You're gonna drive me mad. Little Lingyan looked aggrieved. But I got an extra cruller. Why is she mad? Just then, Xu Tan Nian wandered in, muttering under his breath, his eyes unfocused. He sat down and mechanically started eating. His mother gave an exasperated huff and shifted focus to her son. Tan Nian, why are you wasting time writing poetry again? Everyone has their strengths and weaknesses, don't listen to gossip. Her son was a strong debater, but poetry was not his strength. Tu Ju, Xu Qi'an said suddenly, when are you breaking through to the opening of the orifice's realm? That's 8th rank in the scholar's path. Right. Xu Tan Nian followed the path of the Confucian cultivators. His academy, Cloud Deer Academy, had been founded over a millennium ago by a direct disciple of the Confucian sage. It was considered sacred ground for scholars across the realm. In the Confucian path, 9th rank was the opening of the orifice's stage. It enhanced memory, reading speed, and learning ability. But it didn't make one superhuman just smarter. No signs of a breakthrough yet. My instructor says it can only come through personal insight, Tan Nian said, shaking his head. You should consider studying the self-cultivation realm too, Xu Qi'an said. What's the method for opening the orifices? Tan Nian recalled, you have to internalize the teachings of the sage, not just memorize them, but truly apply them. So, memorization plus understanding. Xu Qi'an nodded thoughtfully. That aligned with the body tempering stage in martial arts, long-term training of one's blood and body. Does the self-cultivation realm also involve physical training? He asked. Tan Nian paused. Confucians at that level have unwavering hearts. Their words and presence can stir morale and inspire conviction. I've been trying to reverse engineer the cultivation path from that perspective. And any results? Tan Nian pretended not to hear. One of the senior scholars at the academy is leaving for an official post in Qing province. The students are preparing farewell poems for him. He looked frustrated. I still haven't written mine. Xu Lingyue mumbled, second brother's not great at poetry. Their mother glared. Your second brother is full of talent. He just never focused on poetry before. Xu Pingzi scratched his head. Just jot something down. That line you said the other day sounded pretty bold. Ha ha ha. Xu Qi'an burst into laughter. Tan Nian froze, face twitching, and tried to steer the conversation elsewhere. That scholar's famous throughout the land, a master poet. Most of the students writing farewells are hoping to gain his notice. If he takes a liking to someone, it could open many doors. Finally learning the value of connections. Are we? Xu Tan Nian used to talk like some self-righteous Confucian. A gentleman makes friends with virtue, not gain. A gentleman does not form cliques. But after their family's recent crisis, it seemed he'd wised up. As the older brother, Xu Qi'an couldn't help but feel proud. If Tan Nian was willing to humble himself just to network, that scholar must be someone important. Auntie grew anxious. What if you can't come up with anything good? You need a spark of inspiration to write well. Mother. Tan Nian sighed. Poetry is like that. He added with guilt, if I'd made that connection earlier, maybe I could have saved us all from prison. We wouldn't have had to beg for help from strangers. His mother's face fell instantly.
Thanks for listening till the end. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss the next chapter.